Welcome back to our Resilient series. I'm excited about this week because I want to do something a little different, a little unique even. So often we dive into the scriptures and look at the words and the Greek meanings, and we're gonna get to that. But first, I want to take a step back and I want to look at the scripture and see what it is saying as a whole. So head with me really quickly to 2 Timothy 1, verses 3 through 7. It says, "Timothy, I thank God for you, the God I serve with a clear conscience, just as my ancestors did. Night and day, I constantly remember you in my prayers. I long to see you again, for I remember your tears as we parted, and I will be filled with joy when we are together again. I remember your genuine faith, for you share the faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice. And I know that same faith continues strong in you. This is why I reminded you to fan into flames the spiritual gift God gave you when I laid my hands on you." Now let's pause right there. Do you see something interesting happening? Paul takes the time to remind Timothy that his faith has been established since he was a child because he had a grandmother in Lois and a mother in Eunice who knew Jesus and shared that with Timothy. You see, our benchmark for being a resilient disciple this week, our training practice, is the idea that we walk with those both older and younger than us, that we have meaningful intergenerational relationships. And just hear me, the statistics on this are staggering. Barna reports that resilient disciples, those who meet all the marks, when it comes to having meaningful intergenerational relationships, 82% of them said that they are connected to a community of believers. 88% said that they feel they belong at their church. And 77% said that when they were younger, they had adults in the faith who poured into them. Now, on the flip side of those who would be considered unchurched, those who might call themselves Christians but have not attended church for 6 months or have any foundational beliefs about Jesus, 7% said that they are connected to a community of believers. 10% said that they feel like they belong to a church, and only 31% said they had an adult who poured into them when they were younger. And if you go one more people group removed from being a resilient disciple, a group called ex-Christians who have walked away from the faith, all those numbers go down. See, these relationships are important. It's not just finding someone who is older than you, who can pour into you, but it's viewing the church as an intergenerational community that we can learn from regardless of the season of life. It's not just attending church as an event, but it's seeing the church as a community to be a part of. It can be easy to think that just because Paul speaks about the family of Timothy, that this is simply a family affair, but it goes so much deeper than that. If you look at 2 Timothy 4, you will see a huge chunk of verses that Paul is asking Timothy to greet people and asking for help from them. Paul understands the importance of intergenerational relationships, but the most telling to me is found in 1 Timothy 5, the first 2 verses. Here's what it says: "Never speak harshly to an older man, but appeal to him respectfully as you would your own father. Talk to younger men as you would your own brothers. Treat older women as you would your mother, and treat younger women with all purity as you would your own sisters." See, Paul's saying that in a community of believers, you will have those both older and younger than you, and they both matter. And they both need to be treated with respect, and we need to walk and learn from both of them. A resilient disciple, someone with an unbreakable faith in a broken world, walks with those both older and younger than them. A resilient disciple sees the significance and actually has intergenerational relationships. So let me just ask you, how are you doing with that? It goes both ways. Do you see the value and the inherent wisdom of those older and younger than you? Are you intentionally living a life that allows you to intersect with people who are older and younger than you so you can walk and learn from them? A real-world example. I am so blessed to be surrounded by people who are both older and younger than me that I get to walk with and learn from. At this current moment, I get to meet weekly with 2 teams. Our teaching team, which is a group of men who are all older than me and have so much more wisdom and have spiritual grit and are faithful people, and every meeting I glean something new from them. But I also get to meet weekly with our student ministry team, a group that is all younger than me, who's full of energy and innovation. And those things challenge me to be better every single day. And hear me when I say this, both of them are important, and I hold both of them in the highest esteem. Your individual challenge this week is to have an intentional faith conversation with someone. I'm gonna up the ante a bit. If you're up for it, if you're up for some more intensive training, have 2 conversations this week. One with someone who is older than you by at least 7 years, and one with someone who is younger than you by at least 7 years. Ask questions. Be honest. Listen well. Walk and learn from them and just see what happens. Because these relationships matter. They help us become resilient disciples of Jesus. They help us have unbreakable faith in a broken world. So let's train this way.